Cars, start your engines!
Tuning up your work week. It's MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse and brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, please welcome your show hosts. One's a spottin' and one's a grinnin'. Here's Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Are you spotting or grinning? Who's doing what here?
I'm shining.
Okay, I'll do that with you. All right, here we go. Welcome to Motorsports Monday after the races that were at Daytona. The summer July races there, always a treat, and this time it didn't disappoint as well. A first-time winner in Erik Jones, a near first-time winner in the Xfinity Series with Justin Haley, and it was a good weekend all the way around. Erik Jones, I guess you could say, made a great move to win, but he and all the rest of those guys you see on the screen there survived. That's what they did.
You know, one of the best fireworks shows takes place at the Daytona International Speedway after the event, regardless of who wins. We always have an amazing fireworks display representing the July 4th weekend and such, but we had a lot of sparks went on Saturday night during the during the event as well. A lot of incidences tearing up a lot of cars, a lot of the big contenders taken out very early on around lap 55, 56 or so. And an unusual cast of characters still hanging around there at the end. Everybody was throwing their hands up going, is Truex and Harvick really going to win again?
Really?
Can we stop these guys from winning? Kudos to those guys still running up front. And then we had JTG putting two of their cars in the top five. Erik Jones getting his first win. Matt DiBenedetto hanging around there and getting a great finish. So an all-around great weekend of racing with Friday's night's unusual turn of events, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and a fantastic finish. We unfortunately were landing back in Statesville, North Carolina, and we got to listen to the race on MRN as we were landing. So that was kind of a
short flight.
Well, it's a crappy flight, really.
Okay.
Because anytime you're listening to the race on the radio, that's not exactly where you want to be. But again, Friday and Saturday, if you don't like that style of racing, man,
as Kyle Busch said, don't watch.
I don't know how to fix it because that's really from an entertainment level, it's pretty high on the list.
Thrilling, no question about it. It is not, however, a Bloomin' Monday.
No, my Joey's sad.
It's not often we say this, that there is no free Bloomin' Onion at Outback Steakhouse, but they do have that Bloomin' Blonde beer that pairs well with the Outback Steakhouse Bloomin' Onion. So go check that out as well. Tell them you heard about it right here on Motorsports Monday. All right, Erik Jones, a first-time winner on the Cup side. Here's what he had to say following the race.
I thought it would have took longer. I mean, when I won the Snowball Derby in 2012, I was 16 years old, and I didn't have any opportunities in NASCAR at that point, so I kind of thought I was going to find something else to do pretty soon. But, I thought at that point I was going to get maybe some, smaller opportunities for other teams, but that kind of changed everything for me. So it really, these last 6 years have flown by. I mean, it doesn't seem like, was it 2,044 days ago? It doesn't seem like that. So it's definitely went by quickly. And, I never would have thought 6 years would have went by so quick. But looking back right now over the 6 years and what all has happened and places I've been, things I've done, it's flown by.
Erik Jones, 6 years ago, he beats Kyle Busch in the Snowball Derby. I didn't remember that it had been that long.
Everybody has a unique story. I was fortunate to give my version of a story this weekend on jeffbluck.com. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. We all have unique stories.
And there was a picture in there, by the way, for folks who haven't seen it, of a very hairy Joey Meyer.
But Erik Jones's unique picture, segue, is about beating Kyle Busch in a late model race at the Snowball Derby, one of the largest late model races of the year. He didn't have anything. He said it himself. Kyle Busch was so impressed with his performance at the Snowball. Boom, he gets put in a truck. He gets put in an Xfinity car. Next thing you know, he gets put in victory lane.
And he's winning for sure. You can pick up a version of Erik's car that won the Coke Zero 400, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. That winning diecast, as well as all the other diecasts, are available at planbsales.com, and that one likely to be a little bit of a collector's item. The first one is always special.
They look a lot like these, except for they have a different number on them.
Yeah, they have one more number.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. By the way, you're going to have a little show and tell later with these?
Little show and tell.
And I think I'm going to go brum, brum, brum while you're doing it. Is that what we got planned here?
God, I hope not.
All right, a big show coming up on MRN Motorsports Monday. We'll take a look at that controversial finish in the Xfinity race on Friday night when it looked like Justin Haley was going to win. Disappointment for Elliott Sadler, who had been so close again, loses by 5 thousandths of a second, but still running very well in the overall standings. We'll talk on track, off track. Is the double yellow line something that we need to look for? Joey's going to talk about blocking and managing. All that is ahead. Stay with us, everyone.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
Kyle Petty here. My friends at Click & Close, the official mortgage provider of NASCAR, have stepped up this year to support Victory Junction through the fastest lap of the race program on NASCAR radio. So join our team. Go to clickandclose.com/NASCAR today to donate $43 or more and help us give the gift of camp to children with serious medical conditions. That's clickandclose.com/NASCAR, and just look for the Victory Junction logo. Thanks to Click & Close and NASCAR Radio for their support this season.
Very tight formation for the lead of the win at Daytona. Eric Jones with help from Chris Buescher will go to the lead. Here's Truex side by side with Chris Buescher now as they race to 3.
Eric Jones opens up by a couple of car lengths. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. Changes lanes. Jones throws the block, headed off turn 4. Here they come down to the line. This is going to be a finish we'll be talking about. Young Eric Jones out in front of the field. Across the line, he'll score the win at Daytona.
Enough time. Fantastic finish.
There you go. It's Eric Jones' first time in victory lane on the Cup side and holds off last year's champion to do it.
Yeah, what a great finish when we look at that finish as a restrictor plate guy. And there's 4 races a year that I can't wait to go to.
I'm the same way.
Because our activity from a spotter standpoint and spotter-driver relationship is tighter at those 4 races than we have anywhere. And Rick Corelli, who's a very good friend of mine, was spotting for Eric Jones. That's his first time with a first win on the. He spotted for Eric Jones,
former driver himself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, long-time driver, very successful truck driver, a Southwest Tour champion. But he was severely injured, whether you know it or not, and came back as a spotter. And
High Plains drifter.
And him and Eric Jones have been working together for a while over there at Furniture Row, and then they transferred over to Gibbs, and that's his first victory. But an amazing job by those guys by managing the front row. Even though Mike Bagley said he was blocking, there was no blocking going on
That
there.
was Mike Bagley, Kurt Becker, and Joe Moore, and I think Kurt Becker said the one that you're talking about.
Yeah, and
be that as it may, we'll get to that in a second.
There was no blocking. That was a good manage of the front row. So
it's kind of like Seinfeld, there was no pick.
Kudos to those guys. Wow.
All right, let's talk a little on track, off track, some things that are going well in the sport and some things that maybe aren't going quite as well. Let's start with off track this week. What do you got? You got some show and tell items.
So off track, we'll start this here really quick. When we talk about blocking and managing, we're going to back up a little bit. We're going to talk about a bow wake. Bow wake is very important, and if we look up on our screen, like on a boat, just like a boat, we're going to see a picture of a bow wake. There's a big boat. You see that big push of water in front of the boat? See that big push of water?
Yeah.
That's exactly what our race car does when it's going down the road. It's pushing that big air of water. And if we can come back to the camera.
The big air of water?
Big air of water, exactly.
Okay.
If you look at this race car and it's going down the racetrack, there's a big puddle of water, big puddle of air in front of this car as it's going along.
Like with the boat.
Exactly right, just like it. And when this car gets in front of it and that bubble of air gets between, it pushes this car forward. If these bumpers touch, they're much faster this way, but NASCAR's changed the rules. We can't stay locked up. We did several years ago.
At least in the Xfinity series, you can't.
Well, we can't do it very long in the Cup car because we overheat.
The bumpers don't match up as well as they used to, and for other reasons.
But we can still push. But the idea is when you're leading the race, you're trying to manage the gap between these guys. And as we saw, Eric Jones did an amazing job. Blocking is when you come down in front of somebody too late and the guy gets to your bumper. And
when he has a run.
When he has movement and he runs and then he wrecks you. And we see that quite a bit. managing the lane allows you to utilize the air and use that air of that puddle of water in front of these race cars to push your car, and that doesn't allow the guy to pass you. Now, that's the difference. Please learn it. There's a huge difference
wait a minute,
between
I forgot
blocking.
to make the car noises.
We don't need car noises.
Okay.
There's a big difference between blocking and managing. Managing means you can stay out in front and be ahead, and the guys can never get to your bumper.
It's almost like you're riding the wave.
Exactly
you're
right.
Seeing the wave and you're getting aboard it. The block is a different animal entirely.
Blocking means you managed poorly.
Managed poorly.
That's why there's a fine line, and it's not a lot of blame. There's not, I sent a tweet out on Saturday night, right after I was standing at the elevator, and some of you guys may have seen it on TV. I wasn't blaming anybody. I was frustrated, but there wasn't blame. But in order to get better, you have to acknowledge the fact that there is a difference between blocking and managing. Managing means you did a really good job of staying out in front, and that's a very good coordination between the driver and spotter getting the information that he needs to stay out in front. So my off track is learn the difference.
Learn the difference.
There is a very big difference. The blocking causes a lot of wrecks. And Stenhouse being on our bumper on the 2 car isn't what caused that wreck. It was a simple fact that a car in front of Brad made a move that was going to cause a wreck, and Brad tried to avoid it, and that's actually what caused
And
the wreck.
afterward, he said he's done with that business.
Exactly right. Done with trying to avoid the blocking people. If you're going to start blocking, you're going to wreck as well as us, and that was the biggest mistake we made. Anyways, what we had, the video is fine. We can go back. But anyway, that's my off track. Blocking and managing, very big difference. These guys go to a restrictor plate race. I'm tired of tearing up these cars simply because guys are blocking too much. But that's my off track.
All right, now let me ask you, hold up the car there, especially the back part, the spoiler. Now, the spoiler was bigger this time than it was for the 500 and had the what we call the ears on either tip, and that was supposed to make it so that piece of air you're talking about was not as intense and guys could pierce it easier and get up to the bumpers. Did that play out as expected?
I didn't see a lot of difference. There were some closure rate differences. The cars had a little more motor, so when they got locked up, we were able to pass cars a little bit easier. I thought the cars were less stagnant in this configuration. I didn't see a big difference in bubbles. There was definitely a bubble out in front that we saw Eric Jones there in the video be able to maintain, did a great job. Cars earlier in the race, they were doing a good job of managing that bubble.
It has to do with when you make the move, I guess.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. All right, for me, it's a rules situation. The double yellow line call in the Xfinity race on Friday night. Justin Haley makes a whale of a move. Looks like he's going to get his first win. Snookers Elliott Sadler and Kyle Larson and gets to the start-finish line first. However, he got onto or below, whichever you want to call it. Either one is not, according to the rules, on those double yellow lines, completes the pass, goes on, and it looks like he wins. Then these disqualified is not the right word, but the move was disallowed, putting Kyle Larson into victory lane. To me, the situation is, do you want to defend why a guy won, or would you rather defend why a guy lost? It seems to me, and I get the whole call, the whole situation about why we have the double yellow line, because back in the day it used to be a guy would go way down there and then shoot back up into traffic and mayhem ensues, we tear up a bunch of cars. It's to prevent that. But it seems lately that it's turned now to we're having more incidents because of the rule than we're protecting incidents from happening. It seems like that rule, your guy Brad Keselowski was involved several years ago with Carl Edwards. He wouldn't go below the yellow line because they told him he couldn't.
Very big
Next
wreck.
thing you know, Carl Edwards is up in the fence.
Yeah, very big wreck. The yellow line, they were going to have to justify their answer. The bottom line is he broke the letter of the law. I'm giving them 100% chance of defending that rule. He broke the rule. They were going to have to defend the reason they called it. It would have been better for the sport to call it in the other direction. I get it. They were going to defend somebody.
It's not a new rule.
It's not a new rule.
They wouldn't even let them go below it in qualifying.
Exactly right. And the simple fact is he didn't use the yellow line as a tool to make the pass for the lead. And that's where I believe the common sense portion of the rule takes place. I'd rather be talking about Justin Haley's first win as well as we're talking about Eric Jones's first win and saying that instead of saying Kyle Larson won the race.
My point in all this is saying maybe it's time to, and NASCAR does this all the time, maybe it's time to re-examine that rule and figure out a way to tweak it so that it better serves the purpose that they want. I understand the point about not having a guy fly up into traffic and cause a huge wreck, but maybe it's time to revisit that a little bit and check it out and see if there's a way it can be
not going to surprise me
tweaked.
if we don't have a rules tweaking of that yellow line.
Yeah. All right, let's move to on track now, some things that are going well in the sport.
You know, nothing better, and I've been a part of it with Martin Truex and Paul Menard and the others, Michael Waltrip, first-time winners, man. Nothing beats it. We've had the occasion here numerous times. Spencer Gallagher sat in this chair. He called it first-time winners all this year. Good job, Eric Jones, man. You break the ice. We talked about your story. You got your video from Snowball Derby to Cup winner. Kudos to those guys. Nothing beats a first-time winner.
And for me, it's super speedway racing in general. I know a lot of the action now is on the road courses. A lot of people stick to their guns and love the short track racing, but for me, there's not much more compelling in all of motorsports than super speedway racing on the NASCAR side. It's something that you don't want to look away from. You don't want to go to the refrigerator. You don't want to go get a beverage. You want to make sure you catch every moment because it's just that compelling.
And let's clarify it. Restrictor plate racing at Talladega and Daytona.
Right. With the new All-Star package, I get you. Yes.
I'm not a fan of the style, but the two super speedway races are amazing. I love them. There's 4 of them a year, 2 Daytona, 2 Talladega for the Cup side. I love the involvement that spotters, drivers have together where we get to interact for the entire race, 188 laps at Talladega, 180 at Daytona. And again, if you're not on your feet enjoying it, whether you're at home or listening to it on an MRN or even at the racetrack, it's a fantastic event.
It is. All right, don't forget now, folks. You got a lot of junk in your wallet there. You all stacked up and ready to explode like my Costanza wallet.
A lot of junk in my wallet.
Junk in your trunk, whatever you want to call it. You say it.
Is that slang?
Yeah, there it is. The Ridge wallet. It's a couple of plates held together by a durable elastic band that kind of helps you keep things organized and helps you not have the exploding wallet like I have. You can check it out at ridgewallet.com. They have all kinds of colors, all kinds of titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, polycarbonate, a dozen different styles and colors. Check it out at ridgewallet.com. And here's what the box looks like. It will make your life a lot better if you're one of those guys like me who has too much stuff in the wallet and it's gotten out of control. Got a nice little clip there. And the promo code, if you're going to use that to check them out, is RACING. So ridgewallet.com, use the promo code RACING, and you too can be a part of the new wave of wallet technology.
Very nice. Yep. Very nice. Keeps everything organized in your front. I'm a front pocket wallet guy.
Oh, yeah?
Are you a back pocket wallet
I'm
guy?
a back pocket guy.
And
maybe that's why my back hurts.
Yes.
All right, we got to take a break on Motorsports Monday. When we come back, we'll get into more Xfinity Series racing and look ahead to Kentucky, a triple header there coming up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at NASCAR and other Premier Series events. And the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. NASCAR fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
Here's Elliott Sadler to the inside. Kyle Larson to the outside. Also, Justin Haley is there as well. It's a scramble. Justin Haley wins at Daytona.
However, Justin Haley got to the line, but his left side tires were on the double yellow line.
And Mike, there has been a ruling.
Justin Haley has not won. He passed under the yellow line. Kyle Larson is your winner.
What a move by Justin Haley to get there, and you see him going on the yellow line, and that's what the call was from NASCAR, advancing the position, whether you say he was ahead already or not ahead. By the letter of the law, he did
100%.
have a violation, and that's a shame because, man, he drove a great race.
The agonizing thing that Justin will look back on is he didn't need to go there.
He had enough room.
And that tells you as a driver that you're not paying attention to that yellow line because at that point in time, it's not important.
He's thinking start-finish line.
He's thinking start-finish line. The shortest way to the start-finish line is to cut across the tri-oval, which we see a lot of drivers do in a lot of tracks. That yellow line at that point in the game is irrelevant. NASCAR wants you to try to pretend that yellow line is a wall, and I get they don't want you to go below that yellow line and use that as a tool to make the pass. The argument is he was already making the pass when he had gone, the pass was complete. He had already taken the lead, momentum was carrying him to the lead, and then he went below the yellow line. And that's the unfortunate set of circumstances that he forced NASCAR to open the rule book and go, in our judgment, here's the rule, you were making the pass and below the yellow line. That's unfortunate. But what an amazing race. Again, how close can Elliott Sadler be to winning these races?
5 1,000ths of a second.
Which is a little more than the 9,000ths of a second in
year
Daytona.
before.
The race before.
In February,
Yeah, where it was a camera finish. So we've got less than a tenth of a second losing 2 races with Elliott Sadler finishing second, Christopher Bell third, Ryan Blaney, another strong go. Those guys are always strong at the restrictor plate.
Kaz Grala, another good run.
That story is amazing. And if anybody knows, that car was the first time it had ever been on a racetrack. It was an old Ray Evernham car that was never raced. It was a backup car.
It was about to be a show car.
It went over to 2 or 3 different teams. Stuart Haas had it lined up to be a show car. They got it to run, finished 5th with it.
That's amazing.
That's
they
an
really
amazing
are
story.
An amazing story with what they've done. Here's what Kyle Larson had to say after he was declared the winner.
Yeah, just tried to do all I could to stay on his quarter panel there to get back to his door to stall him out and hopefully just run side by side or hopefully get clear before we start finish line. But that didn't work out. It was kind of hoping the 24 was going to be my help there down the back to get me pushed out in front of Elliott. And also hoping that Blaney couldn't push Elliott out in front of me. We went through 3 and 4. I think I was still side by side with him. I haven't seen a replay yet of the whole lap, but I do remember in my mirror the 24 somehow I think he got shuffled up the track somehow, and then got a huge run on us and got clear the gap that was between the 22 and the 1, and got underneath him and got the win. So I was doing all I could to hold Elliott off to run second, and I didn't even think I won until I got to the lug nut check there, and they have a big screen down there, and I saw a little bit of the replay and saw that he went and clipped the yellow line. So I'd asked about it, and they said they were talking about it, or NASCAR was talking about it, and then about 10 seconds later we were declared the winner. So pretty shocking, I guess, but really cool, get a win here at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. I've been close every time I've ran here, but get caught up in some sort of wreck, either of my doing or somebody else's at the end of the race after leading some laps and challenging for a win. So nice to finally get one.
It's almost a sense of relief when a guy can sit there and do that post-race presser and like, whew, we made it. Not, yeah, we put it to him. It's like, whew, we didn't get swept up.
So the winner of the race didn't do burnouts. The non-winner of the race did burnouts.
Mm-hmm. Sounds kind of like a couple of years ago when the 42 car, help me out, I'm drawing a blank here. Brennan Poole thought he had won at Talladega, and then it turned out to be Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, no, it's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat all wrapped up in one group, from the thrill going with Justin Haley, the agony of defeat. Larson thought he was the agony of defeat and then finished first, and again, if you weren't there, you didn't get to experience it. If you listen to it live on MRN.com, you got to experience it, and that's what we're talking about. The thrill of those races at Talladega are immense, and Daytona are immense, and what you get there is unparalleled drama, specifically them last 5 or 10 laps with whatever cars are left, because the racing is amazing.
They were shuffling around and changing the lead, and 3 wide in the last turn to go to the checkered flag. That's just as spectacular as it gets. Standings-wise now, Elliott Sadler, despite not having a win, is the overall leader. Daniel Hemrick moves up to second after Cole Custer got swept up in a wreck. Christopher Bell, the rookie, is third. He had a really good finish, finishes third, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5. Tyler Reddick is 6th, but he does have a win this season. Are we going to see a situation where Elliott Sadler is going to point his way in? Or, I mean, with that run yesterday, you got to think he's going to be a factor all season long. Or on Friday, I should say.
He's going to get a win this year. Him and Brett Griffin, the spotter for them guys, work very well together. Junior Motorsports obviously has several cars in the top 10. They're notoriously sitting right there waiting on a championship. He's going to get a win, in my opinion, before they get to their first playoff race with seven races to go. I think Daniel Hemrick will also get a win as long as he keeps.
Very close.
Yeah, very, very close. So those are the two cars that I still think can get a win before the end of before the playoffs start.
And they will be racing at Kentucky Speedway coming up this Friday night. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday triple header, all night races at Kentucky Speedway. That track is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past.
You know, unfortunately, we've gone from Chicago, where we saw bottom to top racing all the way around. Kentucky had its repave. It's now in its evolution. It's starting to get a little bit wider. The night racing is going to keep things a little bit narrower, very smooth, very fast. It's more of a traditional mile and a half. I'm hoping we see a better race than in the past. We've saw some really good races before the repaves.
Well, they're using the Tire Dragon.
The Tire Dragon.
Is that not going to?
Will
that not make any difference?
But until the winners get a hold of that track, where you see a lower groove, smaller groove racetrack, very smooth. Track position is key. Now, this is the kind of track that strategy, crew chiefs love strategy, and that's where this place comes into play. The truck race will be very exciting on Thursday night because of the simple way the package of those guys. But again, 3 good nights of racing here in Kentucky. We'll see what offers.
All right, we got one more break here on MRN Motorsports Monday. We'll talk more Kentucky action coming up on the other side. The drivers from JTG Doherty Racing will give us a preview of what we can expect on Saturday night in Kentucky. They just had both cars in the top 5 at Daytona.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Are you a serious diecast collector? Do you have a favorite driver? Are you looking for a gift for a race fan? No matter what the question, the answer is always PlanBSales.com. Plan B has all the latest in diecast from Lionel and apparel, artwork, and other items for your favorite driver in NASCAR or other forms of racing. Go to PlanBSales.com, key your driver's name in the handy search window, and look at all the options. Your one stop for diecast and other motorsports collectibles is PlanBSales.com.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
This is Kyle Larson, and you're watching MRN Motorsports Monday with Woody Kane and Joey Meyer. Is that the spotter, Joey Meyer? Does Woody ever get to talk?
Not much.
Not much.
That's okay. That's all right.
But on these Plan B sales cars, even when you do a burnout, the tires are burned out on.
Ah, how about that? That's some detail you don't expect. That's fantastic.
The tires are
and
all
the wheels
rubbed out
turn.
On it. Yeah, but
it's got the roof flaps.
Yeah.
Look at there.
Hopefully you don't look like that.
No, because that's bad when you're upside down at a racetrack. Not very good. All right, Kentucky. The guys from JTG Doherty Racing had a really good run at Daytona. Both cars in the top 5. Let's hear what they think about Kentucky Speedway.
I enjoyed Kentucky before the repave, but the repave has been pretty good for me. I think we've had pretty good speed every race since then, so I'm a little biased on it because of that, and I feel like I enjoy it more now. It's a different racetrack, you know, with the two corners being so different there, so flat in 3 and 4. Texas kind of headed the same way when they reconfigured and repaved with 1 and 2, just not to the same extent. It's a tough racetrack to pass at, but it's a tough racetrack to set a car up for, just because 3 and 4 is so much slower than 1 and 2.
I mean, it's an important race for us. It's Kroger's home race, so we always get a lot of Kroger employees, Kroger execs there. So For us, it's kind of like a second home race, and we got to go there and perform. We haven't had the greatest of luck there the last couple of years. You need to be a little bit better, but our mile-and-a-half program's gotten better. It's a racetrack that has changed with the reconfig and new pavement, so still learning a lot about it, but I feel like what we've learned in our mile-and-a-half program so far this year can really help us and go there and, as I said, more importantly, have a great race for all the Kroger employees.
Chris Buescher and A.J. Allmendinger talking about Kentucky and the different ends of the racetrack. I was talking with Todd Gordon, who's Joey Logano's crew chief, and he was talking about that makes it a lot different in terms of how you want to come off 2 and get into 3 and 4 versus Texas, which is flat on the opposite end of the racetrack.
It's interesting. If you fight a problem of making your car turn in 3 and 4 because it's a tighter, flatter kind of corner, then you end up being way too tight down in turns 1 and 2.
Because of the angle.
That's exactly right. So it's a balancing act of being able to make your car turn at both ends of the track, and the different bank angles make that a very difficult strategy. Not only that, but it's more of a single lane track as well. So even if you have a faster car getting around that other car, strategy, pit road, everything comes into play. A faster car, I know it sounds dumb, a faster car should win this race.
Should win this race.
But with the attitude of the Kentucky Speedway and strategy, sometimes we don't see that, and that's what's unusual about this mile-and-a-half.
Thursday night truck racing, Friday night Xfinity Series racing, Saturday night Cup racing. Those last 2 will be on our friends at the Performance Racing Network. But on Thursday night, we've got the Buckle Up in Your Truck 225 Camping World Truck Series race from Sparta, Kentucky. That starts at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Christopher Bell won this one a year ago. I'm betting he won't win it this time.
He probably won't win it because
he won't be in it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly
Must
right.
be present to win.
That's it. Exactly.
Don't forget, we've got NASCAR Live coming up every Tuesday night with Mike Bagley. A lot of good stuff on the program this week. A lot of Kentucky talk as well. The guest list should be great after what we saw at Daytona. And then on Sunday, don't forget NASCAR USA, America's Tailgate Party, the country music show starting at 10 Eastern Time. And all that is coming up at MRN.com. Find all our shows there. We'll see you right back here next week on Motorsports Monday. I'm Woody Kane. He's Joey Meyer. See you next week.